Hey folks, welcome to the Camping Post. In this video, I'm going to show you how we installed our new 12 volt disconnect switch so that we could get a voltage meter put in so that we could see how much power we have on our battery when we are not hooked to shore power. And here's what we did. Thanks for watching.
All right, here's what's in the box. And we have a link to this unit down in the description below. Please check it out. And we also have a link to our other camping gear and RV related items that we've purchased. Got a nice little gasket here. We didn't actually have that on our current existing switch. Bag of hardware, which we didn't use much of because we were able to use a lot of the hardware from the existing switch. Here is the switch itself. Looks pretty slick, feels pretty heavy duty. Got your terminals on the back. They do come with compression washers. And then there's a box that you can mount to the unit, so you can mount this in two ways, with the box or flush mount it. Whatever you want to do is up to you. And of course, there's a set of instructions. Whether we follow that or not, we will find out. And now on to the fun part of the installation. First, we're going to disconnect the 12 volt power by removing the lead from the terminal on the battery. Then we're going to remove the existing 12 volt switch. It's always handy to have some type of magnets around to hold your screws so you don't lose them, because we're going to reuse those.
All right, now I'm just gonna unscrew these. Got a little vice grip holding my wires so they don't get sucked in. One of the things I noticed about Intech is they don't give you much lead wire, which I think is a bad problem in case you got to fix something or replace a panel. Makes it somewhat difficult to get in there and do that. But whatever. It is what it is. We'll make do with it. This one's labeled output. This one's labeled input. So output is this top one. Input is this bottom one. Really hope I don't lose my leads here.
Now, before you attach your new switch, be sure that you have the rubber gasket that goes around the switch, between the switch and the wall, in place. Otherwise, you'll have to pull your leads back off and put that back in place.
Oh, boy. Get a nut on.
And I'm just going to copy input to input and output to output, just like the original switch was.
This is why it's nice to have additional wire when you're doing these things. Not a whole lot of space to work. And let's get our output on. And our nut for that. At least that way, got my wires intact here. Just hand tighten those as much as I can. My vice grips out of the way. All right. I'm just gonna tighten those down. All right, let's see which way is up here. fit test there. That looks pretty good. So before I screw this thing to the wall, I'm going to go put the terminal back on the battery and test it. All right, folks, so what I discovered is I wasn't getting a readout. So what you got to do is run a line from that little third pin on the back and run that to your negative battery terminal. So I'm gonna have to find a wire that I can run. I just used some alligator clips, daisy chained together just to test this out, and it does work. I am now getting the display that says 13.5, even though the camera may not be showing it. So in order to get this switch to work with the voltmeter, the switch works fine hooked up, but in order to get to work with the voltmeter, you have to ground it to the negative terminal on the battery. But maybe there's a ground somewhere else. We've got this connected to the terminal on the back that would go to the ground. And if I touch it to this, the negative on the lighter plug, I get my voltage readings. So maybe I've got another way that we can accomplish grounding this so we can get the voltmeter to work without having to run a wire all the way to the battery, which doesn't seem like that's going to be an easy task. So what I'm doing now is I'm taking off the cover of our 12 volt USB, and I'm going to see if there's something on the back of this we can ground to, and then I can just run a wire from there over to here. So let's see what happens. Okay, now that this is out, there is no exposed wires on this unit. It's obviously connected back in the wire, so I'm gonna have to dig back there and see if I can find out where this hooks into the system. There is a set of wires I could tie into, and one is actually labeled ground. You might not be able to see that, but one of those is labeled ground back there behind this 12 volt socket. So now we need to see how we can access that. Now I'm trying to get access behind this port. So I'm looking at removing the face of the Dometic fridge. To do so, there are a couple screws here underneath. I've already taken out the one over here. I'll take out the one over here. And then once we do, we'll just slide that right off. And there we are. That's been removed. Now, hopefully, I can get in here to some of these wires back there. So while we were doing this, we ran into situations that were not necessarily in the instructions or covered by the instructions, and we had to try and figure out how to get a 12 volt wire from this switch to the battery, but we were looking at shortcutting it through this, and then we ended up opening up the front of our Dometic here to get to the wiring behind it, and at what time we found out that there was a big metal shield around the refrigerator that we could ground that wire to and then get voltage coming to our meter so that we could read our meter. So right now I'm going to fashion myself a little jumper to go on a screw that's going to mount to the chassis of the fridge. This one will mount to the negative terminal on the switch. This is the wire I'm going to use. It's on there solid. Same, the end goes on the terminal. Okay, looks like it's easier to take the shield off and crimp your connection. Put your shield back on. Lesson learned. Now I got my little jumper. Alright, got my socket. I'm gonna take this little nut off. That terminal gets loose. Almost like they want you to use a little Y jobby to slide in there. Right. On there. And I'm gonna use my socket to tighten it up. Bend this out so it's out of the way. Alright. Now I'm gonna feed this through and grab it on the other side. Ta-da! And this is the end. I will attach to the point on the fridge. I got a little screw. Then I wanted to make sure I got a short one. I'm not puncturing anything on the fridge. Well, let's see if this is working over here. And now I have a digital readout of the voltage on my switch. Now all I gotta do is put all this back together. Before I put all the fridge pieces back together, I want to screw this to the wall, and then we'll do our final test. Make sure this is all dory. Put all the pieces back together. Go unplug our power. All right, it's in off position. It's right here. On is up there. We are getting our voltage. I'm going to go turn off the shore power and see what happens. Spooky dark. I still got my flashlight on in the fridge. All right, I'm going to turn on my 12-volt power. There we go. I'm reading a 12.7. Pretty sweet. So I'm on 12-volt power, and I'm reading 12.7. Now, the reason it reads more when we're plugged into shore power is because it's running through the charging circuit. So you're going to register more power to that battery as it's trying to be charged. So I probably need a new battery because now it's at 12.6. So this took a little bit more on the install than we thought it was going to take to get from this to this, but I'm pretty happy with this because now we can see our voltage when we are off grid and monitor our battery power. But I also think that that switch looks pretty boss. I hope this has been of help to you. If it has, feel free to like and subscribe to our channel and turn on post notifications. Thanks for watching and happy camping.
Don't forget to subscribe and turn on post notifications!